Welcome back to the Rude Boy Rant, and the Dirty Immigrant in Scotland continue.
This one here, okay, this was just the other day. I was talking to this guy, and he's like, these illegal immigrants, they're common criminals. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And they should be punished. So I said, dude, you smoke weed every day. You break the law every day. You break the law every day, so I guess you're a common criminal too. No. I said, we all live in glass houses, brother. You know, you keep throwing stones, somebody might get through the tent and see what you're doing.
See, and that's what always gets me about when you see... Okay, especially anytime somebody's running for office.
Yeah.
You've got all of these people who want to dig up any kind of little itty-bitty dirt that they can find. But you know they're probably sitting there at their desk while they're doing this going, man, hope nobody looks in my closet.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hope nobody decides to try and follow me home and finds out what I've been doing.
Yeah. And the downgrading of immigrants. But anyway, when I first came to this country, the funny things that people say to immigrants... You know what I mean? No, granted, I speak the Queen's English. The Queen's English.
I'm sure back then your accent was probably a little
thicker.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? And I had the rhythm of the Grenadian. I think the reason why people understand me now is I've changed the rhythm in the way I speak. I haven't lost my accent. I just changed the rhythm in the way I speak.
Yeah.
But, you know, so...
Even though somebody said you needed to just get rid of your accent.
Yeah, because the women love it. That's what the problem is.
He was a little jealous.
The other night I had a guy told me I have a lovely accent. I'm like, okay.
Let me speak differently, then.
Yeah, I'm a manly man.
Careful with that, too. You never know. Anyway, so funny things they say to you.
Yeah, man. So I remember one time I went to a religious college. I ain't going to give no denomination or nothing. So I was in the library, and you know, and this is when I first started realizing the differences in how they treat people too. I was sitting in the library, nice and quiet. I'm studying, and everybody's like, "Wait a minute, the basketball player is studying."
Another thing we're not used to in this culture, I guess, right?
What's he doing in the library?
Because you came to play school.
No, here I am there with my books and stuff. I'm studying, and sitting next to me is a lady from Sweden, which is really funny. That they figure, hey, the woman from Sweden could help the guy from the Caribbean acclimate. But what they really meant is the one from Sweden could convert the guy from the Caribbean to hit their religion. That's what they really meant.
The foreigner needs to convert the foreigner.
You know what I mean? You get him over, baby. But
then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Yeah, then step aside.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah. You did your job. We'll take it.
But I'm sitting there, okay? And they are asking her, the lady from Sweden, what's the culture like in your country? Are there other religions in your country? What's the national food? I mean, all these
interesting questions.
You know, thought-provoking
trying
questions.
To really get people to know. Yeah.
You know, get to know you and things.
Yeah.
And then this one girl, little church girl, sitting there, like she's on Mama's Family or something. Sorry, young people, if you don't know, if you don't know where that came from.
Google it.
Yeah, that show Mama's Family. Yeah, that's what she looked like she came from. You know, that was back in '86. So you know, she turned to me and asked me, "Do we still eat people in my country?" And she was serious. So it's funny because there was a little bit of mumbling going on in the library and stuff, and then it just got really quiet and everybody's looking at me, including the brothers. The brothers didn't back me up. They sit there waiting to hear if we eat people too.
Yeah.
So right there after I said, you know, yes, we eat people, only the women, but they seem to like it because they keep coming back for more. They keep coming back for more feeding.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. You see those church people. Ah! Well, I never
eat a white meat yet?
Yeah. No, I never ate chocolate yet. Or tropical chocolate. I'm a man, you never will, sister.
Oh,
But yeah, imagine that 1986.
I really wish I could have been there just to see the look on her face. Man, when you said that,
she didn't turn red; she turned purple. She became a sister that was blushing. She turned purple. And so I heard a couple of snickers, and the brothers, of course, she in the library, dude. The brothers and sisters, they were laughing up a storm. And the thing about it is, I learned there's so many myths about foreigners that people actually. I mean, like. A year ago, this guy I work with down here, he asked me if we have television on the island. And I look at him and I said, no, we just watch movies up in the sky while we look at the ocean.
Yeah,
you
we just sit there and look at the beach. This is a good... Did you see that fish jump? Ooh, man.
He asked me that with his MAGA hat on. I mean, come on.
Well, that's another thing. Anytime you see somebody with that something like that doesn't help the stereotype that anybody who's got those type of things are, basically bigots. Yeah, it doesn't help that either.
Well, I mean, but I tell you what, though, here's a little feel-good story. There was some migrant families standing outside where I work, and they were trying to raise money for a hotel room.
All right.
And it was right after all this fervor about illegal immigrants come up. And I thought, oh man, those poor people, they in for some hell. The opposite happened. They got all these people went in there and brought money out for them, brought food out for them. So if you all stop listening to these politicians that are using this as a tool to divide people, people are actually basically good people.
Yeah.
They helped this family. This family got a room, they got food, you know what I mean? They took care of these people. As a matter of fact, they took care of those people more than they taking care of those people going around here begging for cigarettes. So get a job. That's what they do to That's what they do to their own people.
I always like the specific when they come up to you and say, "Hey, do you have 32 cents?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but they actually help these people. So the people are actually good and they want to help. But when you have people who have a certain agenda vilifying people, it's easy to turn on them. I don't have any problems as an immigrant. As a matter of fact, people don't consider me an immigrant for some reason. I don't know why. He's nice.
Yeah, because you're not one of them.
But then the Mexicans come into the place and they're just as nice as I am. They're always smiling and laughing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't see, and nobody's really messing with them, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? They're part of the community. The thing that people have to realize is that when you label people, that creates a problem.
Yeah.
Labeling immigrants as murderers and rapists. Man, I haven't dated in 19 years. How am I a murderer and a rapist? I'm not even dating y'all. You know what I mean? I rap on my chastity belt and took a vow of celibacy. I mean, come on.
He keeps everybody at an arm's length away, and he's got long arms. So.
That's what I mean. And most immigrants I know are like that. We go about our business, we pay our taxes. You know what I mean? And we generally really nice people. Now, sometimes I have to check some immigrants. There was a guy, he's from India. And a friend of mine was trying to get an apartment and that he owned. And he's like, and he's just telling him this and telling him that. That really made me angry. And talking about how he know this politician, he know that politician. I said, give me the phone. Dude, I know where you're from. Chill. I'm not saying it's bad there or not, but chill. You know what I mean? Like, I come here, total respect. I don't do a bunch of stuff to, you know what I mean? Yeah, I talk my mind and I say government this, government that, but that ain't nothing I didn't do at home.
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I mean?
I read your book and I've heard the stories, so.
You know what I mean? It wasn't anything I didn't run my mouth when I was back home.
Yeah,
that's the way we, you know what I mean? And I have this is my little conspiracy theory.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean?
Get ready. Here it comes.
The further thing, you want to know why I believe that they're trying to get rid of immigrants? Because immigrants actually think and ask questions about the government.
Well, and a lot of them work really hard too. So
Yeah.
you do have a certain percentage of lazy people who don't want that one to come take their job because they'll do it a lot better.
Yeah, I know a lot of lazy immigrants too. I mean,
Well, unfortunately, I know
the illegal ones are the harder working ones. Than the legal
I was going to say,
ones.
unfortunately, I know a lot of lazy Americans, but
You know what I mean? The illegal immigrants are working harder than some legal immigrants. I mean,
they want to make sure they're towing the line and everything's
you know
good.
you know what I mean? And that's what I mean, because, like, in our school system, we are taught to question our government. We are taught, hey, they're doing this. Why is that? Blah, 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 blah.
Not us.
Okay, I was
my
about to
gosh.
ask what it's like.
No, we are taught to worship our government. I think about this, okay? When we're kids, we are taught that Christopher Columbus was this great human being that you could that you could put him up on Mount Rushmore, which I'm sorry, even, there's a certain couple on Mount Rushmore that's also a slap in the face to people that were living there before, but anyway. And so, we're taught that, George Washington never told a lie. He's a great man. And then you find out that, once he became president, he's ordering entire annihilations of Native American villages.
Is that the one that
things
chopped
like
down the cherry trees?
Yeah. Cherry tree, singular.
Oh.
And then when Dad asked him and said, "Did you do this, son?" He said, "Father, I cannot tell a lie. It was I." We're taught that as kids. I mean, we are taught that basically it's almost like if you grow up in a church, and obviously, you and I both grew up Catholic, so Jesus, Mary, the saints, all this sort of stuff. When you're in school here, you're basically taught to worship these people in our government.
Yeah.
And then if you continue your education further, or you actually go and decide, you know what, I'm starting to wonder here. Let me go find out some other things over here. Then you start to find out, man, they weren't as perfect as they're trying to paint it to us. I mean, they do seriously try to paint this picture that these people were perfect individuals.
Yeah.
Everything they said was right. Everything they did was right. How could you question that?
Yeah. See,
that's what we're taught. And that's why then when something like Vietnam in the 60s suddenly made people start to go, whoa, wait a second. And then you start to find out more and more and more of what actually happened before.
Yeah.
But even still, for me, growing up in school in the 80s and into the 90s, we were taught to basically worship these people.
Yeah. Man, we were taught to question. Man, we were taught to question so much. People would be in class. What? What is going on? Calm down. Come sit down. We're going to get to it. We're going to show you the solution and all of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, not us.
But,
not us.
And in turn, immigrants teach their children to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice, they're going after children of immigrants too.
Yeah.
They just want people to go home. And listen, this is every country. In England, they're trying to do that right now. Even in some African countries, because mind you all think Africa is like a whole bunch of hellholes where people are. No, there's rich areas in Africa too, and they are pushing down on poor people as much as any other country in the world.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you get people trying to leave there.
Exactly.
And go find
somewhere. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you something
even
like
if
this,
it's just crossing border into another country.
Exactly,
in Africa.
and creates an immigration problem in that other country. You know what I mean? And
yes, for those of you, Africa is not a country. It is a continent full of countries.
And it's kind of like with the situation in Venezuela now. Now you have immigrants from Venezuela going into Colombia, going into Peru, coming to my island, going into Trinidad is closer to Venezuela than Grenada. They have a problem. Trinidad had some Cuban immigrants come in there the other day. It was late last year.
That's a much longer trip than trying to hit Florida.
You know?
Oh, wow.
I think I don't know how they got there. But they got there, but what the people did, what one rich man did, was rich there and rich here. So our rich man had a warehouse just sitting there, and he's like, they could stay in my warehouse, just keep it clean, they could stay in there until they get on their feet. It's cool, man.
Helping people.
Yeah. We got to start helping each other, because you know what? Nobody's going anywhere. You know, and, dude.
There's a line in a Moody Blues song where they're kind of going through some things, doesn't sound the greatest, and then when it gets to the chorus, they say, "All I'm trying to say is we're all we've got."
Yeah.
I'm talking about people,
human beings.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Like I said, we said before, this show we recorded here in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia is not the richest state in the union.
No, it's
West
also
Virginia,
a state that people don't realize is a state.
Yeah.
I'll get to that again.
And I mean, it's like most people live paycheck to paycheck here,
Mm-hmm.
which is not that different from the islands. People live from third world countries.
Mm-hmm.
They live paycheck to paycheck. One slip up and you're gone.
Yeah.
The only difference is you all have a socialist program.
There's that word.
where you give you EBT cards and stuff, and us who are accused of being socialists don't even have that. No, dude. We got to go plant some corn and peas and stuff to feed ourselves. You understand what I mean? But, and that's the difference. But the people are the same. They're working hard, instead of vilifying them, and they're just in the same situation as you do. They just take a bigger drastic measure. And I'm telling you straight up that a lot of poor people here, if they had the inclination that they could do better if they go to Canada, they would move.
Yeah.
That's just a human instinct to go where you could find a way to survive better.
I mean, obviously, I've had, at times when I've been struggling here, somebody saying, well, why don't you just why don't you just think of a place you want to go to and just go there? And I say, well, I don't want to go there if I don't have a job.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make things a lot harder. Because for one, I was stuck in a position at the time where I can't even afford to really go move.
Yeah.
And so I definitely can't go do that if I'm going to go there and go, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to work anywhere yet.
Yeah, you see, and you're not going to get up and walk all the way to California. Like they walk all the way, you know what I mean?
Or walk all the way to Canada.
Yeah, they're in a little
especially
bit
not in the winter.
Destitute situation. Yeah, you know what I mean? They're in a little bit more destitute situation, so life and death. So they have to.
I mean, think
migrate.
about even all the people who migrated west in this country.
Yeah.
Because somebody started to say, "Hey, you can find gold in California."
Yeah, you know what I mean?
They picked up everything, put it in wagons, attached to some horses, and took off.
A lot of immigrants actually go back home after a while. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go home. It's not because I think home is better per se, but now I'm getting older. Why wouldn't I want to go live on the beach and
but also
and chill out?
But also too, it is your home.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean. And
I mean, why do even a whole lot of Americans, after if they've lived somewhere else in their life for a while, they either like to go back and visit all the time their home, or they look for a way to move back home.
Yeah, See, I think the reason why people think that. They always wonder why you want to go back home is because they think it's war and pestilence everywhere else, and freedom is only here.
Yeah.
Or peace of mind is only here. But there's peace of mind and stuff it's just where I'm from and in other parts of the third world. And I know most people know that to a certain degree, but there's a lot of people who argue against that.
Yeah.
Knowing that that's not the way it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
look, I do obviously think illegal immigration is a problem.
It's a problem
because if you're
it's not as big a problem as they let on.
Yeah,
but it is a problem.
But two, if you're gonna go somewhere, like if I suddenly decided I wanted to move to England, I know I need to go about it the right way.
Yeah.
I can't just go sneak in over there and just try and start to have a life or whatever. I know if I'm gonna pick up and go there, I need to do it the right way. If I decide I want to move to Canada, I've got to do it the right way. If I decide I want to go move to Grenada, I need to do it the right way.
I'll tell you. Now, I'm not drawing any kind of a justification for it, but think about it. You're working paycheck to paycheck and you're struggling, but you have a paycheck to paycheck.
Yes.
A lot of the people who walk those hundreds of miles, they have nothing. So you have a choice.
Yeah.
They really don't. It's either leave or die.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the difference. But the people who walk in the caravan were trying to do it legally. They weren't trying to storm the borders and run in and sneak in. They were looking for asylum. There are a lot more than people actually jump in the fence. A lot more people because they want to do it legally. But it costs money. You have to travel to places and all of that, So it's easier to just walk and come to the border and say, hey, you know what I mean? This is what's going on where I'm from. I need help.
Well, I mean, when I used to work with Augie back at Service Master, I mean, I would ask him stuff like that all the time because I knew. Okay, I know I've said this before, but the section in Winchester where he lived, we started to call Little Mexico City because that's kind of where they were all moving to. And I said, okay, you obviously know, like, your neighbors and all that sort of stuff. I said, are they, I hate to ask it this way, like you came here legally? So, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know. He goes, oh, yeah. And I mean, and I believed him when I asked him, does it make you angry, people who come here illegally? He got furious. Yeah. You know, because he's like, yes, you know, I went through all the things that I was supposed to do.
It's a lot to go through.
Yeah. He goes, he said, I did everything the way I was supposed to, and it makes me so mad when people don't.
Yeah. 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 A lot of people, you know, the money issue, man, you got to pay up so much money up front to get stuff, you know what I mean? And some people they hire lawyers to set it up too, and then that costs a lot of money. And then, of course, you got those shysters fleecing them for their money and stuff.
Yeah.
Even if they come here illegally, they get fleeced. Oh,
yeah.
You know, got to pay this person, pay the coyote, you know, pay the guy with the Cadillac with the bigger trunk, you know.
The semi-drivers with, I got a little bit of spare room in my trailer back there.
Go back there with the fish.
Yeah.
Or whatever they hauling.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, we even one time just going on vacation down across the Southwest, I mean, we got stopped by Border Patrol, and here we were in this great big van pulling a trailer, you know, about a 24-foot camping trailer, and the border guard just asks us, you know, how many of you are in here? My dad says just the 4 of us. Are you know, any illegals or anything? No. And he just took my dad's word on it. Man, we could have had probably 50 people back there in that trailer, which we did not.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have been sneaking people, and here's this guy who just, it's a white man. I'll just take your word for it. You know, yeah, you're fine. Which, yes, we were, but I mean, we could have been sneaking a whole bunch of people right there. Yeah. You know, and so, and I don't know. And the other thing too, like what you were talking about with taking advantage. We've got people everywhere trying to take advantage of somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And what is a more perfect way to try and take advantage of somebody than someone who's desperate?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm desperate to get out of my country, whether it's, you know, I can't find a job there, whether it's the wars going on, you know, whatever it is, whether the government's taken over everything and everything's just going wrong. I'm desperate. I need something better.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I can get you a job, but you're going to be paying me half of what you get.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And I'll hang on to that passport or whatever kind of people you have.
And you know what? I read a book called Disposable People, and it's talking about in places all around the world, basically people like that taking advantage of those who are desperate.
Yeah.
You know, they get them into these places going, yes, I got it great, but you can come work here in this forest, you know, whether it's, you know, pulling fruit off the trees, you know, this and that and whatever else. And then, by the way, that uniform that I gave you, that's going to cost this. Yeah. Oh, you need food so that you can survive. Yeah. Well, that's going to cost this. Yeah. Well, now you owe me.
Yeah.
You owe me.
Pay up or call ICE.
Exactly. And, well, also other places around the world. Yeah. I mean, they're basically kind of almost enslaving these people.
Yep.
Because I'm just going to throw a number out there just to give you a general idea. They might be making maybe $50 a week doing this. But I've got to try and pay out about $45 because I'm in debt, you know, or I've got to give you all my $50 because I'm in debt because you gave me this little trailer or this tent to live in. You gave me these clothes. You gave me this food. You gave me this stuff to cook with. You know, I got to keep paying back and paying back and paying back.
Man, that sounds like college athletes.
College students, period, sometimes.
But, oh, man.
I mean, it's an incredible book. It a whole lot of facts in it. So unfortunately, some places are kind of dry as far as reading it. But it's very disturbing to find out these things are still going on.
In like Saudi Arabia, there's this problem with Filipino migrant workers. Mm-hmm. They have these people pretty much like slaves. They take their passport, they whip them in some cases. You know what I mean? Now a lot of these countries are pulling their people out of there. You know what I mean? And not only are these countries trying to pull their people out of there, those rich people over there are fighting to keep them as if it's their property.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. We have people who look at people still as their property.
And that's an immigration problem in a whole other country. I mean, in Germany, last year I was reading stories where the Syrian refugees are like sleeping in bus stations. People are like, it's like Grand Central Station here in New York, and people are walking to work with their suits and ties and stuff, and there's people with kids in blankets and stuff and sleeping bags on the side of the building. It's like, wow, this is what we have come to.
Yeah.
And yet we still keep bombing and blowing stuff up and terrorizing the ecology and all of that. You know, what do you think is going to happen? If your land turn into arid desert, you're going to move. You're not going to stay there and starve. What do they expect?
Yeah.
Also, in Latin America and South America in the 80s, you got all these outside companies from all these industrialized nations coming there, opening up businesses, milking the place, and leaving.
Yep.
You know, you got these big-time farms in South America who are hiring the very people who this government said they were fighting against to guard their place and to bully small farmers, to giving them their land so they could make money. You know, and so when you take the farmer's land from him, you expect him to sit there and starve or migrate to do better.
Yeah.
He's going to migrate. You know what I mean? He's going to go where he thinks it's going to be best for his family. And that would be anybody. And I'm not saying illegal immigrants are right. I'm just saying bring it down to the human perspective. Stop with the ideological perspective. You're dehumanizing people when you go there. Bring it down.
Why do you think a lot of our ancestors came over to America to begin with? Because they thought things could be better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you know
now
what
granted,
I mean?
yes, unfortunately, people were forcibly brought over here.
Yeah.
But a lot of
close
people
attention.
still came over here because it way back, few hundred, 400, 500, well, not 500 years ago, but, you know, hundreds of years ago because they thought things would be better.
Yeah. And we got to break it down and figure out who is actually taking your money. You got to figure that out. I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to give no opinion on that. Just figure out who is actually taking your money.
I was about to say something, but...
You know what I mean? Because, listen, 11.1 million immigrants, generally speaking, and let's say about a quarter of those are illegal or half of those are illegal, they can't take that much money from you. They just can't. You know what I mean? So, figure out where your money is going. And we got to stop blaming people. You got to stop blaming black people, white people, gay people. You got to stop doing that because the point is 90% of us are poor.
Just trying to make it.
We're just trying to make it, man. You know, I have some empathy like what I saw that day outside my workplace where they helped that one family out. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you just rush out there and help. I'm not saying there's not criminals amongst them. There is, without a doubt. But there's criminals amongst every nationality, every race. There's criminals in the animal kingdom. You know what I mean? You go see a bunch of apes in the jungle, there's a criminal there. You know what I mean?
That's why eventually one of them might end up being shunned by the rest.
And also, look at the contribution that these people make. They're doing jobs that you wouldn't do. You know what I mean? If they're law-abiding, generally speaking, because most people are law-abiding, generally speaking.
Yes.
You know, because you guys break the law every day. You don't come and there's nobody in this country that's going to tell me that you haven't broken a law.
Think about this. If the speed limit says 45 and you're doing 50, you just broke a law.
You just broke a law. You know what I mean? So you do it every day. We got to start being more humane. You know what I mean? Like England and all these big countries, you know, and this country and well, I don't know about Germany, but France and them. You got to stop bombing these places and desolating these places and expect those people to stay there and starve. They're going to go look for better, greener pastures. That's just it. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. If there was no immigration, you all wouldn't know me. You know, women wouldn't be oodling at me.
Oh, no.
And can't have me. You understand what I'm saying? The thing. I mean, we're gonna do another podcast about immigration. I'm gonna get more facts and statistics and stuff like I did. I don't like doing that a whole lot, but I just dropped that there so you have a general understanding of immigration and illegal immigration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of the stories I tell you, it's just stuff that I encounter. You know what I mean? As a legal immigrant. Yeah, hence the reason why my book is named The Dirty Immigrant.
Yeah.
But we're going to sign off of here now, don't babble on too much, you know what I mean? This is The Dirty Immigrant.
This is Scotland.
Yes, you know what I mean? And tune in for the next episode.
Yep, keep tuning in with the Rude Boys Rant podcast.
Yeah, we're going to bring it on for you and thing, all right?